We are still in the Persian period in our year of the Bible. I am Andrew Whaley. Today we will be learning about the books both of Ezra and Nehemiah, two contemporary leaders responsible for the reestablishment of Jerusalem and Torah observance in Judah. The story told through the book of Ezra and Nehemiah is an intentional retelling of the formation of the late community of Judaism, led by the leadership of those officially sanctioned by the Persian Empire to come and reestablish Torah observance in the former capital of Judah. Ezra is written, we think, somewhere around 458 BCE. You can cite the leadership of King Cyrus at the beginning and on through the leadership of King Darius and Artaxerxes. The book can be divided into two sections. The first section, chapters 1 through 6, have to do with the initial return and the reestablishment of the community in Jerusalem. That section opens discussing the official proclamation of King Cyrus to return in Ezra, and then that section concludes with the work of King Darius. We hear here of the temple being reestablished, the Passover being celebrated. It's curious because there were still Jewish people in Jerusalem during the exile, but they are not viewed as legitimate at this point. They do not share the official sanction of the Persian Empire. Ezra declares that he and those officially sanctioned from the Persian deportation can now return and establish this community of Torah observance. Then in chapters 7 through 10, we hear about the leadership of Ezra himself. We hear again of the support of the Persians that he has from Artaxerxes. He reconstitutes the community of the Torah, and he gives this particularly challenging command. He tells those who remain in the land, the ones who have taken foreign wives, that they are to divorce them and to put them out of the city, along with any children that they share with them. You see, Ezra's concern is not just with outsiders, those who don't belong to the people of Israel. He is also concerned with Jews who aren't Jewish enough. That sounds harsh. It is harsh. But we can think about communities that are in danger. Communities in danger perceive purity as the great antidote to threat. Ezra is wondering if this new Jewish people can be sustained. So he seeks purity in the land. Nehemiah has many of the same themes as Ezra. Nehemiah is written a little bit later, 444 BCE. Nehemiah has the official sanction of the Persians to return to Jerusalem. His role, though, is to build the walls around the city, to fortify the holy city of God. Much of Nehemiah is written in the first person. And so we hear Nehemiah's own memoirs about how he's the cupbearer to the king, and he wins favor with the king to return back to the land of his ancestors and rebuild the walls. We hear Nehemiah's personal stories of defending his project against detractors, how he organized the grand procession through the walls into the city when the project is complete. And then we hear of Nehemiah's personal concern that there's produce being brought into the temple, his concern with Sabbath observance, and also Nehemiah shares this concern about purity. Nehemiah, unlike Ezra, though, is more concerned with civic life, whereas Ezra concerns himself with religious life. But as I said, the two books overlap quite a bit. One place in particular is in Nehemiah chapters 8 through 10. Here there is the great instruction from Ezra. He's reading a sacred text and giving interpretation. This is something new. This is the first time we've heard of a sacred scripture being read before the people with interpretation about how to live it. And so people of the book with interpretation, that becomes a defining mark of the Jewish people. Their sacred text, the Torah, interpreted and expounded upon by later rabbis and those who read it and share in it. After that's done, there's this confession of sin, the people, how they have turned from God, and then the covenant with God is once again reestablished. But now we live in a new reality. What does it mean to be a people of Torah observance when you are the vassal state of a great empire?